Envy by Joseph Ledbetter, The Cyrillus Voltaire Murder Case. Preface. This is the evidence for the murder case of Cephas Cyrillus and Ulrich Voltaire. One was found dead in his home and the other found on the side of the street, a letter found on the body of Cephas Cyrillus. If you are reading this, it means that I have finally accomplished the goal I set for myself since I was a young boy. I am most likely publishing this story on my deathbed as to confess and ascend to heaven pure of conscience. I know that what I will have done is a truly heinous act, but via this confession I hope to rid myself of the guilt before I pass on. For you, dear reader, to truly understand my confession, I must tell you a bit about my life. When I was a young boy, I had a dear friend, a nobleman's son by the name of Ulrich Voltaire. At this time in Britain, the only thing that could weaken anyone of such stature is a blade through one's back. I was in contact with Ulrich because my family was quite wealthy through trading, although we were not of noble blood. A fact that causes my blood to boil over with envy at the thought. That nobleman's son got everything because of his title. He did not deserve such a privilege. I hate him, but I doubt that such a hatred stems in both directions. He most likely just sees me as a peon who is beneath him. Today, however, is the day my green hell finally ends. I have been invited to tea recently, and I have a plan to kill this nobleman in his own house after I've left, so it will not be traced back to me in any way whatsoever. I have paid for the small contraption to rig a knife to stab whoever opens the door it is affixed to. I will also set up a small poisoned candle within the room I trap. If they do not die to the knife, they will quickly die from the airborne poison. I have other traps made just in case, but I will not write of them here. I will kill this man today if my name isn't Cephas Cyrillus. A letter found on the body of Ulrich Voltaire. If you are reading this note, it means that I am most likely dead, or too infirm for the law to bother. Today, as I write, is the day I finally settle a score against someone whom I hate, and who I am sure barely acknowledges my existence. I wish for this note to set the record straight, and help me, Ulrich Voltaire, go down in history as a cunning mastermind for taking down this horrible man. When I was a young boy, my father introduced me to a boy roughly my age. Although they were not of noble blood, the boy's father was a very rich man. The boy's name was Cephas Cyrillus, and I must restrain myself from breaking my quill pen at the thought of this man's name. He had all the money and power he could want, but none of the responsibilities and dignities of a noble. He was so free, and yet could influence the world around him with a toss of coins. I hate the man so much, and I can only guess that everyone who works for him will be glad to work for someone else. I don't even know how exactly he keeps employees, being the man he is. I suspect blackmail, but my envy ends today, for I shall do what a duke is supposed to do, take care of the problematic people. This is not a murder, this is an extrajudicial execution. My wife is slightly concerned at the fervour at which I write this note. My daughter is being told to stay in her room for an extended period of time, for I have invited my great enemy to my house for tea, and he shall be none the wiser that I will have brewed his tea with foxglove. He shall be dead halfway home, and none will know that it was I who had killed him, until I reveal it to the world, after his death has been properly savoured. The testimony of Madame Voltaire, main subject of the murders of both Cephas Cyrillus and her husband, Ulrich Voltaire. I swear it wasn't me. I would never have done what you are accusing me of. I saw my husband writing with frightening intensity just before his tea party with a childhood friend. I didn't recognize the kind of tea that was being served. It did smell the slightest bit rotten, but I did not question it. At one point during the tea party, the guest excused himself to our lavatory, and when he returned, he soon left our home looking a little ill. Right when the guest had left, Ulrich looked strangely at peace, but I didn't have time to think about it because soon I heard the scream of our daughter. Ulrich jumped up and ran to her. I heard coughing, and when I'd got there, they were both dead. My poor daughter had a knife through her back, and my husband was choking on the air and coughing up blood. Both were already dead. Please believe me, it wasn't me. Add. Both of the preceding letters were later found on the persons of both men, however, it was too late. Medea has already been hung by the neck for the crimes of killing both men. This is a dark day for justice, a dark day indeed.